Hello everybody, I'm back on my English YouTube channel. It's been a while, I know, and a few things have happened in between, and I was mostly concentrating on the German channel, but I also want to go back to English because there are many subjects I want to talk about, and also in English, because if you don't live in Israel, or if you live in Israel and you don't know Hebrew, so you're missing out on a lot. So I continue here. But what has happened since, I don't know when I uploaded the last video here, I think it was February, March maybe, and some walking videos from Jerusalem. And I'm also continuing with that. But, of course, it's very hot outside. It's summer here. And we have 32 degrees. Temperature is going up. Again, when I say 32, I mean Celsius. I don't know how much it is in Fahrenheit. I guess it's about at least 85. Yeah, something 85, 87 Fahrenheit. So it's very hot outside. And it's not very pleasant to walk around. So some things have changed in my life. I'm still a cancer patient. I'm more or less fine. It changes all the time. It changes on a daily basis. In March, I made a big step, which turned out to be the greatest decision, one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life. I switched from the oncology at Shaarei Tzedek Medical Center here in Jerusalem, to the competitor Hadassah Ein Kerem Hospital. And my opinion is that this step, changing to Hadassah Ein Kerem, to the oncology there, saved my life. As some of you know, I have sarcoma. I'm a sarcoma patient. I've been a sarcoma patient for the past 5 years. I have to sit a little funny here because I'm a little in pain, in stomach pain. So I'm sitting a little like this, but it's gonna get better. Yeah, I'm a sarcoma patient. I have leiomyosarcoma, and I was diagnosed like 5 years ago. And for 4.5 years, I was an oncology patient at, as I said, at Shaarei Tzedek Medical Center here. I had two major stomach surgeries there, and I think 5 chemotherapies. For years I was on chemotherapy, and I'm still suffering from this because I'm a little here in pain, and yeah, I'm still haven't got rid of all the side effects. I also, when I was at Shaarei Tzedek, and I was a patient there, I had radiation treatment at Hadassah Ein Kerem, because then Shaarei Tzedek didn't offer radiation treatment. What they do now, they started offering radiation treatment last November, and I have a lot to say about that. Maybe I shouldn't, but I want to give you one advice. Seriously, if you are a cancer patient in Israel, or if you are any cancer patient here in Jerusalem, I would really advise you to go to the oncology at Hadassah Ein Kerem Hospital. No, I'm not being paid for saying so, but comparing Shaarei Tzedek, and I've been there, as I said, for 4.5 years, and for the past 5 months I've been with Hadassah, it's an amazing difference in professionalism and how they approach you, and especially what Hadassah has to offer to a cancer patient. Shaarei Tzedek is concentrating on, okay, you have cancer, um, here's your tumor. We're going to do this, 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 this. It's always reacting. At Hadassah, they react, but they also give you an option for the future, which Shaare Zedek never did. Oh, here's your tumor. We're going to do this now. But no one talked about the future. Probably they expected me to die. I don't know. Either to get rid of it or to die. That's it. But at Hadassah, they give you they treat you and they tell you about your future. I mean, you can still die, of course. Everybody can die. But, you feel like you have options. And of course, Hadassah Ein Kerem is a university hospital, and they do research. They have different programs. I signed up for research programs and everything immediately. The first time I spoke to my new oncologist there, it was a total different world. It was like boom, 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 boom. And he sent me to all kinds of tests, and I had research, I had genetic testing on the tumors, and I had surgery. This was another thing. Hadassah Ein Kerem only detected 2 tumors. I had 3. They didn't even find out about the 3rd one, and that was obvious because it had been there for 1 year, and I had complained about pain in that kind of part of the body near the hip, and I was told, it's post-surgery, it's like pain from your last surgery, there is nothing. And I went to the surgeon at Hadassah, and he looked at the same pictures, at the same PET CT pictures, and he said, you don't have 2 tumors, you have 3 tumors. What's this there? And in the end, I had surgery in May, 7.5 hours, and I had 5 tumors. New tumors grown in the meantime. And you know what? Shaare Zedek wanted to do radiation on the 2 tumors next to the liver. They didn't even know that it was already grown onto the liver. Don't ask. And, there it's like they didn't have anybody professional. They had someone who didn't want to see me, so they gave me the oncologist to talk to me who had no clue about radiation. And you know what? It was a whole mess. So I went to Hadassah and asked if they really want to do radiation on the 2 tumors, which had already grown onto the liver. And they said, no, there is no use. It wouldn't last very long. We have to do surgery. So they did surgery right away. I went to pre-op and everything, and they did surgery right away. And what happened? They took out 5 tumors. 1 new one that had already grown onto another part of the intestines. And, that's Shaare Zedek. They wanted to do radiation, and in the meantime, tumors were growing. And it would have been, and the 2 tumors on the liver, like grown onto the liver, they were already the size of a fist. Too big to radiate. It would have been a whole disaster. I had so many tumors, and at Hadassah they took out everything because they also have a surgeon. I have a great surgeon there, and he's also a sarcoma surgeon. And he opened, I had a big scar again over the whole, like from the chest down, a little further down of the belly button. And he saw all those tumors. He detected all those tumors just from looking at it. So they took out 5. And this actually saved my life. And I don't want to know what had happened if I had stayed with Shaare Zedek and undergone this unnecessary, and it wouldn't help any more radiation and not detecting more tumors. So actually the switch from Shaare Zedek, from the oncology to Hadassah, saved my life. And I did have radiation. The past 2 weeks, I had 5 radiation treatments, but on a different tumor. Not on the right side, but on the left side. And at the end of this month, I'm going to see my oncologist, who is great. And he's also a sarcoma specialist, not only. He also deals with other kinds of cancers, but he's also a sarcoma specialist. And it's like, Hadassah is a total different world when it comes to cancer. They are so professional, and I was really, when I was there the first time, talked to the new oncologist, it was a total different world. It was such a different world. It was like, oh wow, you couldn't even, we were sitting down the first time, we were sitting down for, I don't know, an hour and a half, at least. He took his time really to get to know what I have and everything. And I think the first time I'm there, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours even, I don't know. But, it's just my Googling, oh, what can we do today? And, just go home or something. It was so different. And when you have radiation at Hadassah, they are real professionals. They are real professionals. It goes wham, bam, and radiation department is really big, I have to say, and they have lots of patients. It was all the time when I was there, it was mostly full of people, and they have different kinds of things also they do there, and it's really professional. So, to make a long story short, Hadassah, I have to say, this is my feeling, but Hadassah actually saved my life. And as I said, if you are a cancer patient here in Jerusalem, you should go to Hadassah in Kerem. Compared to Shaarei Tzedek, compared to Hadassah, Shaarei Tzedek looks like a little shack. But you get used to it. Hadassah is like a small town, and you get used to it. You have to walk around a lot and everything. But once you know and you get used to it, it's actually very easy to find everything, all the different departments. So I was in hospital for 5 days. I had surgery. This was in the middle of May. And I've been recovering and everything. And, well, we will see. I have to go for a new CT, probably beginning of September. And then we will see. Of course, I still suffer from side effects, especially from fatigue, also from radiation fatigue. But I was told this before. But yeah, I'm very happy that I switched. Of course, I should have switched to Hadassah much earlier, but who knows? But I'm glad I made this step. So this is it. I was really busy with that. I was really depressed, and because Shaarei Tzedek, I felt, I had a very bad gut feeling. And I think it is important to go according to your gut feeling. I had a very bad gut feeling. And when I talked to the radiation oncologist at Hadassah, I had a great feeling because he's very professional. And he's also American. Not because he's American, but he's very professional. And I had a very good feeling. And when I talked to him, I already knew that Shaarei Tzedek is finished. So this is it. I'm trying to recover, as I said, which is not so easy. I had, for years, I was on chemotherapy. My hair grew, but in a color I don't really like. I'm gray. I'm waiting for black hair to return. Friends say it's wishful thinking, but I'm still hoping. And now I try to enjoy the time before I go back to my oncologist, which is in 3 weeks, because then I'm going to have a new CT. And when you are on chemotherapy for such a long time, your veins disappear further inside. into the flesh or far below the skin. And so for me, because I have a CT, I need like an IV. And you know, the nurse is always struggling to find any veins. And for me, this is a nightmare, a nightmare. And in June, I had, middle of June, I had a CT, and a week or something later, I had an MRI. The first MRI of my life, because Shari Zedek, they never gave me an MRI. But at Hadassah I had an MRI, and this meant like finding veins and being poked, like, you know, with the injection and everything, because I get iodine. At the MRI, did I get iodine? No, at the CT I got iodine, but not very much. And at the MRI, they didn't give me iodine, they gave me something else. Something like, I don't know, you can see through liquid. But it was okay. But for me, it's always, you know this, when you've been on chemotherapy for a long time, finding a vein for chemotherapy itself. I have a port here. But when I have a CT, MRI, PET CT, I need an IV as everybody else, and this is, it can be painful, but at Hadassah they give you the spray. They have this cold spray, so they put this onto the spot and then they poke in the needle. But it's very, you know, it makes you very nervous. So here you have all this anxiety even a few days before it's taking place, because I'm so afraid of where do they find a place for the needle. Yeah, but this is it. I can't do too much because I'm still limited in many ways, and I also have a hernia on the right side. The hernia is being fixed at the end of this year. They didn't do it during the 7.5-hour surgery because there was no time, apparently. But I still have a hernia. It doesn't bother me so much. It's here on the right side, where the stomach is, liver, and this. It doesn't bother me too much, but usually I wear a belt, this elastic belt. I took it off now for the video. This is why I'm sitting so... everything is like cramped together. This is why I'm sitting so funny. But I'm gonna put it back on the belt. But yeah, that's it. It's not easy to struggle with all this, but I'm very optimistic. I'm very positive. I do not sit around, be depressed, and think about cancer. I try to have a very normal day, and I don't think about it. The only thing making me nervous is when I have to go for a CT or something and they try to poke in the needle. So then beforehand I'm very nervous. But otherwise I'm not. And with radiation I wasn't, because it goes like, as we say in Israel, chick-chack. It goes very fast. And yeah, it also gives you a very positive feeling. If you're sick, let's say, or if you have cancer or whatever, and you have a very good professional medical team around you. And my surgeon works together with my oncologist and also with my oncoradiologist. They all work together as a team, which at Shari Zedek this doesn't exist. So everybody works together at the oncology. And it gives you a very good feeling that you are being taken care of, that you are in good hands, let's say. At Shari Zedek, especially in the end, I didn't have this feeling anymore, and it was over. Okay, I don't want to make too much advertising for Hadassah, but go there. What else is happening? Well, the political situation here, and you've probably heard many things. So I'm going to talk about this also in uh, upcoming streams, what's going on. As I said, when you don't live here, you get a different picture from the media. Of course, the media has its own agenda, and you don't get all the details or whatever is happening here. But even if you live here, if you made Aliyah and you don't speak Hebrew, speaking the language actually makes you part of society. And when you don't know Hebrew, or when you are limited or anything, so you also don't get everything. You know, you can read Arutz Sheva, Jerusalem Post, or whatever as much as you like, but it's not the same as understanding the language and communicating with people. So I'm trying to do a few streams on that. And yeah, that's it. At the moment, it's August, as you know. Israel is on holiday. You know, many Israelis go abroad at the moment, mostly to Europe. Some go to the United States, for instance, but it's very expensive. The flight is very expensive. The flight alone costs a lot of money. And so most Israelis going on vacation abroad go to Europe, to Greece, to Turkey, to Spain especially. Spain is very popular at the moment. Barcelona or Italy is also very popular at the moment. Those who want it cheap go to Bulgaria, and some go to Germany, to Berlin. Some Israelis, not everybody, but especially secular Israelis like to go to Berlin. It has a special reason, and the reason used to be like, let's say 10 years ago, when this whole thing started with going to Berlin, or young Israelis moving to Berlin. The reason was, you won't believe it, it was a chocolate pudding. A chocolate pudding called milky, that is very popular here in Israel. It's a small chocolate pudding. Looks like a yogurt, but it's a chocolate pudding with artificial whipped cream on top. And because it was so expensive here, they said, we are moving to Germany, and there we get other chocolate pudding and much cheaper. This wasn't the only reason. But you know, you have many, especially young Israelis living in Berlin today, despite all anti-Semitism or the new anti-Semitism in Germany coming from Muslim migrants. Berlin is full of Pakistanis, Afghanistan, Syria, Lebanon. You have Arab family clans ruling also crime and everything, drug cartels. And if I were Israeli, I would not move to Berlin, because you're surrounded by, you know, a hating Muslim society. And it's not Palestinians or something, as we have here in Israel, but it's, you know, you have the real ones like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and those. And those people you don't want to have. With Palestinians, it's very different. You have nice ones, and then you have the not nice ones. Let's say you have everything, but compared to like Pakistani or Afghanistan or Syria, Lebanon also, you know, when you have people from there, when you have Arabs from those countries, they really hate you when you are Israeli. And I wouldn't want to live in Berlin. It's you know, it's the last place. Germany is full of Muslim migrants, and I don't understand how Israelis can move there. Yeah, but you have all different kinds of people. You also have lots of anti-Semitism here in Israel. Israel, I would say at the moment, it's a country with the highest rate of anti-Semitism in the world. Because you have so many secular leftist Jews who have no connection, they are Jewish, but who have no connection to Judaism in any case. And many are married to non-Jews. They import from, I don't know, from Europe or somewhere. And they've totally lost it. And I'm going to get more into this when I talk about the political situation. And those people, they attack Haredim. They attack ultra-Orthodox Jews. You don't have to be ultra-Orthodox. You can also be, you know, Kippas Ruga, as we say, national religious. Those religious Jews who, like, where the men have a knitted kippah on their head, and women cover their hair with, I don't know, with a schmatte or whatever. And, you know, those leftist, secular, like the hardcore, they really attack religious Jews, even on buses. You know, they come at you and yell at you. And this is Israel at the moment. It's very, very sad. Many things are going down the drain. And if the country is not, I don't know, trying to solve the problem, or how can I put it? You know, if not everybody sticks together again or anything, you know, the Arab countries are already laughing because they don't take the Israeli army too serious anymore. And if it continues, the Arab countries know that it's time to attack, because there is no unity anymore in Israel, and there are soldiers or reserve, like, who are on reserve duty and who refuse to do reserve duty. I mean, you can't have a country, there's no country in the world where the army is really getting involved in politics. Of course you have, like, armies overthrowing governments or something. But here it's like, there are many soldiers and they say, oh, we don't like this government, so we are not doing anything. We are not serving. We are not doing our duty. You can't have an army saying, oh, we don't like this government, so we don't do our duty. And then, this government, the other one we do like, so we do our duty. An army is not there to choose. You know, it's the same with the American army. And let's say you have the Republicans ruling, and so they say, oh, we are not doing our duty, we are not defending the United States because the Republicans are in power. We want the Democrats. And then the Democrats are in power, and so they say, okay, we are doing our duty, we are back on duty, so to speak. You know, an army is not there to be involved in a government or have anything to do politically. And here it's also, you know, you even have companies here. Companies boycotting this and that, and everybody wants to overthrow a government. And, well, the Arab countries, the surrounding Arab countries are just laughing about what is going on in Israel. And, you know, if it's getting too bad here, and if Israel doesn't pay attention to this, you know, the Arab countries know then it's time to attack, and Israel is gone. I heard once, I don't know where exactly it says, I really want to ask a rabbi, maybe someone is here to answer the question. It says somewhere in the prophets, in the Nevi'im, that Israel, you know, the Jews are coming back, like now, and having their own state, but then they may lose it again for 6 or 7 years or something, and the Arabs, like Ishmael, are going to rule, and then Mashiach is coming. It's supposed to say it somewhere in the prophets, but I don't know where. So maybe we are on the way to this, to lose the country. We will see. As I said, I'm optimistic, but you know, you never know what's going to happen. So at the moment, everybody is on summer vacation. so it's quiet. Yeah, that's it for the moment. And well, I'm back. I'm back on duty, and whatever government is there. And yeah, have a good day, and don't forget to go to Hadassah in Keren. Advertising? No, it's not. I'm not being paid for this. It's just my own experience. And yeah, see you soon. And thank you very much for listening.